Good afternoon. I'm Paul Davidson.
That 5-hour energy was
You guys ready?
Yeah.
Action. Good afternoon. I'm Paul Davidson, and I'm here to talk about GearSpoke. Inevitability. 2 days ago, I went to a presentation by Lieutenant Governor Treadwell, who is a successful tech startup founder. And he said he likes companies that are inevitable. GearSpoke is an inevitable company. Currently, there are people who own gear and would rent it out, and there are people who would rent gear from those owners. But there's a wall in between them. This wall is a wall of not having a marketplace to do business, and also a wall of trust, not being able to trust somebody with your things. GearSpoke breaks this wall and creates a marketplace for people to have trustworthy exchanges. GearSpoke is an online marketplace that focuses on outdoor gear. It focuses on outdoor gear because it'll have a dense niche market which will have a stock of everything related to outdoor gear. So we'll be the go-to guys for outdoor gear rentals. It builds trust by having online profiles, similar to couchsurfing, by having insurance and deposit options as well. It is projected that peer-to-peer online rentals is going to be a $26 billion industry. It just started about in 2010. We've seen the founding and going live of peer-to-peer rental companies, and they're growing very quickly. 4 weeks ago, I was at 3-day startup incubator event, which brought together a lot of great people, and this is what we came up with to seize this market: an online peer-to-peer rental marketplace. This is a template of what it could look like. You can see there's a sign-in place because we all have profiles. You can see there's pictures which show to you that there is actually a lot of variety within our niche of outdoor gear. So we have the perfect size niche to be well saturated in our specialty and have enough diversity to be able to expand and hit a lot of that $26 billion. Also, the prices you see are going to be easily posted and set by users. We're not going to do anything other than recommend prices to people to use. So, from the 3-day startup event, we have the founders that are going all the way through it, which are Linda, who is our business and marketing specialist, Richard and Paul, which are our technicians and website people, and myself, Paul Davidson, and I'm business marketing and also have a specialty in numbers. Our key mentors come from successful backgrounds with IT, marketing, and startups. So together we have all the pieces to build a successful company. And now it is Linda to elaborate on our market.
Ladies and gentlemen, let's look at the bird's eye view of P2P or peer-to-peer rental or collaborative consumption. Is GearSpoke a really good idea? Can it stand the sort of the consumerism economy as we see it right now? Well, let's look at some numbers. For example, Rachel Botsman, who is sort of the leading evangelist on collaborative consumption, she appeared in the Fast Company magazine, and she says that the rental market, just like Paul said, is going to be a $26 billion industry. In addition, Time magazine says that peer-to-peer, the time for peer-to-peer is right now. Why? 3 things. There's issues in the economy, there's issues in environment, and the fact that the social web has exploded upon us. Also, there's been other books written on this subject. Primarily the 2 that I want to talk about. The first one, written by Lisa Gansky, is called The Mesh. And she says the mesh is, it's you, it's me, it's everybody else, it's the stuff that we own, and so it's interrelated in this networking environment. And she's saying the mesh is going to be the way that people do business in the future, where access trumps ownership. Further, Rachel Botsman and Lou Rogers, they wrote a book called What's Mine is Yours, The Rise in Collaborative Consumption. And they're pointing out something very interesting. 20th century, we were advertised to. We wanted to have a high credit score so we can buy stuff because ownership was a key a key to success. But now, because the web is decreasing the traditional notion of privacy in 21st century, we see things like reputation, community, and shared access. That's becoming really important. That is the trend. And that leads to collaborative consumption. So let's look at how collaborative consumption manifests itself in the actual physical, tangible companies. If you look at this list, you'll probably recognize some companies, not really thinking about them as a P2P type of company. For example, the Zipcar. They rent vehicles. They started 11 years ago, and they grew tremendously, and now they're ready for their IPO. How about Airbnb? By far, the hottest online peer-to-peer rental for accommodations. They help us rent our places out, our apartments, our condos, to other travelers that come to Alaska or whether you go somewhere. They've grown so much. They've been able to raise over $7.8 billion in VC money. They're in over 160 countries and 8,000 cities. That is impressive. But what is impressive is that GearSpoke is based exactly on the same platform. Ladies and gentlemen, we are an online, peer-to-peer, outdoor, and sports equipment rental platform. And it's hard to deny the benefits. Less cost, less waste, and we're building a global community based on neighborly values. And the fact that the sharing economy, it's at its nascent stages. And this is a great time to get on board. So we see that there's a lot of buzz, national buzz about peer-to-peer. But what about Alaska? So what we did during 3DS is we said, let's do some market research, primary market research. Mark our numbers. We did online surveys, phone interviews, and in-person interviews. And this is what we found. It's staggering. I mean, 89% of people are willing to use our service and to rent. 51% of people that we talked to, over 250 responders, are willing to lend. We found other interesting numbers that talk about the value of the equipment that would be listed, the 5 primary categories, the rental time, and we use these numbers to make our revenue model projection. In addition, we found that trust is going to be a key thing. We know that through Airbnb because that's how they do it, and the people told us that is important to them. And that's why we're going to provide them with trust features such as a reputation system and an insurance system. But furthermore, the bottom line is we validated the idea of GearSpoke in an Alaskan market. People told us they're going to use it. And we estimated our target customer, individuals of ages 18 to 45. So then we did some secondary market research. We wanted to see, okay, we have Alaska. How many Alaskans do we have to use so we can project for the revenues? So the total market in Alaska at this point is the visitors and the people that are residents. So our target number 1 is just the residents, and that is what we only use in our revenue projection just to be conservative, and that's over 330,000 people. Target market 2 and 3 are a little bit more transient, but they're still present. Market 4 talks about expansion. It's all the other states in the US outside of Alaska. The goal is launch GearSpoke here in Alaska and then expand out to places like Hawaii, Seattle to start with. Why? Well, because they're ranked in Forbes magazine as highly ranked as outdoor cities. And also it's places where Alaskans like to go to. They're comfortable there. So our word of mouth campaign is going to be huge. So how are we going to penetrate these markets? This is our marketing strategy. So a list from the lowest cost to the highest cost. As you see, we're leveraging some of the lower cost a lot, the social marketing. That is our primary marketing techniques to start with. We also want to point out that the GearSpoke website is very important to us because the website is the face of the company. And we want the users to be able, we want the user experience to be intuitive, easy, pleasurable, and to save people some money. That's the essential benefit behind this. And so with this strategy, we hope by end of year 3 to reach 10% of market share, and that's market number 1 only. So you're probably asking yourself, sounds great, who else is doing it? Yes, we do have some competitors. Let's take a look. Store-bound competitors. This is specifically in Alaska. Play It Again Sports REI. Well, their biggest thing is their costs. They do have to worry about